Welcome to I'm still gonna call it the Sunday night live stream. We still got 15 minutes. Sorry for the lateness of it. But, I was late doing what I was doing the other night, and I literally just got done watching Night Country. Before we get into anything, before we get into any details about this crazy ass season of this crazy ass show, these are some dirty fucking cops. Every one of these cops is in some way, shape, or form dirty. I was waiting for Denzel Washington. I was waiting for Lonzo to show up with his Monte Carlo. Every one of these cops is dirty. The only cop that really wasn't dirty was the captain, which is, Christopher Ellison character. Every one of these cops, I've never seen a show where every cop was dirty. And at least there's like one honest cop where like, oh, I got to fight the blue line. No, every one of these cops are dirty. Some of them, in fact, half of them are murderers. Literally half the cops in the show committed or assisted in a murder or dumped a body or were about to kill somebody. Every one of these cops is dirty. I'm like, wow, I just had to think about that. I'm like, this is not a good endorsement for law enforcement if you're watching it. Either they were dirty or they were stupid. Those cops at the end bought that bullshit she gave him. Holy shit. Okay, hey. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream, everyone. The half of the show is going to be obviously True Detective. That's why I waited so late. So I know a lot of you, at least most of you regulars that were watching it with me. I don't think Brad was. I don't think Brad's old enough to watch.
Yeah, so I haven't taken the plunge on True Detective yet. So yeah, I'm very much a normie on this one.
It answered a lot of questions, but didn't answer some at the same time. There was a lot of the visual messaging. You understood the reasoning of it. You understood all the hallucinations, but you really never got to the heart of it, in my opinion. In some ways, I don't even know if that hurt the show. Obviously, the bear with the one eye. That was her kid's bear, and that was really her kid that died, and you finally got the backstory of that. You find out who killed the scientist, and holy shit, that they deserve to die. I was like, for the whole series, I sort of felt sorry for these hapless victims that maybe got possessed by something, or Clark did them in, or something. When I found out what they did, I'm like, fuck these guys. And then now, let's get to the chat before I go complete. By the way, this is a spoiler. This is a spoiler discussion of True Detective. So if you have not watched it, then now would be a time to. This is not the show to watch right now because I'm not even going to put up the spoiler sign because I don't know how long it's going to go on. But yeah. So as long as you see the spoiler thing, it's going to be going for most of the show because I'm pretty sure we'll revert to it even when we get to the open mic. The open discussion, but let's go ahead and hit the chat, Brad. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Almost forgot. Something you guys already saw it if you follow me on any social media, but look at that. And that came on quick. That came on remember guys, we were just at 35 or 30 not too long ago.
Yeah.
So we're at 40,000 views, and I made a joke Film Junkie has more subscribers than I have more views, but that was a joke I made on the Vox stream the other night. But yeah, 40,000 views, and that's in just over a year or so. Because remember, I wasn't streaming exclusively on this channel for a while. I started out streaming on the Point Extra Lounge, and doing that on a regular basis before I even I had my own channel, but I wasn't doing anything on it and then we were simulcasting, and then when I brought Brad on, because there was no spots on Point Extra Lounge for me to add Brad as an admin. So that's why we haven't done that in quite a while. But 40,000 views is impressive, in my opinion. I think that is pretty cool, especially when you look at our analytics. I don't think you guys can see those, but you look at our analytics, you see a clear start time of when we started rolling. I was joking the other night that, because I thought last night's show was going to be a shitstorm, and I thought I was going to lose subscribers. We didn't. We started out with 362, and we're at 371 or 372. So we kind of gained 10 subscribers in just 24 hours. Our views are up, and a lot of it is consistency in the show. I think the new format is working on our anchor show, the Saturday night show. Also, the Winnie the Pooh interviews are doing really well. I finally, after 2 years, nearly 2 years of tracking down and stalking the Winnie the Pooh creative, Scott Jeffries will be our next guest. He is the producer. He's the one who set everything up. He's the one who, at Jagged Edge. He's the head of Jagged Edge Studio. This is his baby, him and his director that he chose. He's the very first one I wanted to interview. I was really just trying to interview him. And I sort of kind of stalked him because even before the movie, I was like, I got to do this because you guys are going to get big. And then, little people like me are not going to have a shot. So at 9 o'clock this Monday morning, which will be 5 p.m. their time, I will actually be interviewing them. And we will upload that to the channel. And then I have 3 more people. I have Tigger. Tigger will be interviewed later on this week. And I have the one final girl who we had to reschedule because she had to go to Ireland. And then the second final girl, she'll be there too. So we have 3 more interviews, actually 4 if you include Scott. So we're going to pretty much have almost everybody but Pooh himself. So that's coming up. But yeah, thanks for everybody who's liked, shared, subscribed, pushed our geek gospel throughout the corners. And like I said, you look at our analytics, we're getting watched in places I didn't know existed. Didn't know had the internet in some places. We have. I know Pakistan has the internet because I talked to people there. We're getting views from Pakistan. How you doing, Spidey? I don't know how we got out there, but obviously we have Australia, we have the UK because our regulars are on there. I know I got a lot of Canadians. We got Germans, and a lot of it mirrors my clientele too. I just realized that because that's the kind of clientele I get in. Like the other night when I was talking off screen to you guys, and that guy needed help with his little phone thingamajiggy that he had, those guys were actually Palestinians. They were straight up had flag. They were literally wearing the flag walking in the store. So our viewership is starting to mirror the people that come in the store. So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, there we go. 40,000 views and climbing. So thank you everybody that made that happen. Even Stella, they've got this started. Brad, everybody. So cool. Thank you. All right. Let's hit the chat.
Okay, so we're starting here with with the Spider-Man. How's it going, Spidey? So Rose wasn't a ghost that Navarro saw after all, but I was right about the ladies killing the scientists. I was wrong to think Navarro may have assisted them.
I didn't know you had brought up the lady. I didn't have a clue that it would be them. Somebody said the cleaning ladies, but yeah, you were right. That makes it. By the way, Rose has killed somebody. She didn't kill somebody on this show, but Rose has killed somebody. That bitch knew too much. she had a playbook on how to get rid of bodies. And by the way, her name is Rose. What? You know what? I think Rose might be based on one of our very own Ruth. But she's like, I gotta cut the lung so the air comes out so they don't float when you drop. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. She seemed so calm about it. She was like, dirty cops. Go ahead, next one. Oh, but overall, I was impressed with the show.
That's what's he got? How's it going? 4th?
I know 4th. By the way, everybody should have watched it by now. You guys are way ahead of me because I know it. I hit the air.
Hey, Spidey. Connolly was having sex with Liz, who was his subordinate, and he answered to the mine.
Yeah, he was complicit in some things, but he wasn't. Okay, on the level of dirty, he was complicit dirty. They were like literally felony dirty. They were like killing people dirty. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, everybody in that show, he's the only one that didn't have a hand in killing somebody. Navarro whacked with one dude, tortured another guy. Liz was there and covered it up. So she's an accomplice. Obviously, Pryor knocked off his own dad, which I didn't think he was going to recover as well as he did. I mean, every cop on that show, and then you have, you had Christopher Ellison character. Yeah, he was doing some dirty shit, but at least he didn't have any bail. Oh, and then the father moved the body. So, like I said, he was the least dirtiest of them, I guess. What I'll say.
Yeah. Let's see what else in the chat. I really don't know how to feel about the season. And how's it going, Azteca?
I'm still processing it. It's just I just watched it like literally less than 10 minutes before I literally hit the end credits, and then I got out of that and I started the stream. So there are a lot of things I love about this season, but there are some things that they put out in the abstract that I would have liked answers to, like a lot of the supernatural shit. So I'm basically left to believe, and this is all I have, is that you're seeing the story from their point of view, and that there's no magic, obviously, but it's just the shit that they were going through was being metaphorically visualized through the point of views of the characters. And everything that they were going through, all their depression, all their guilt, it was being manifested and brought out to you from their point of view. So that's the conclusion. And if that's what they did, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Austin, come on. Austin says, I hardly heard to say this because I loved every episode so far, but this finale sucked. Here's another one. Some good moments where I didn't think they could mess it up, but it was just a letdown.
I don't see. I'm trying to, like I said, I just watched it. You guys might be a little bit more further than me because you probably watched it earlier. I'm not, like I said, all I really wanted from this particular episode is to have answers to every question that was out there. So I got that. I don't know if I got them as thoroughly as I want them, but I got enough. I don't know if it was a letdown as far as, like, if they would have left some shit, unanswered, but okay, I found out who killed Annie. I found out why. I found out who killed the scientist. I found out why. I found out, details about her son and everything that pretty much broke her and drove her into being kind of the sleazy cop that she is. I didn't find out, obviously the suicide. This death was like the thread throughout this entire show. It's a lot of suicide. A lot. Her sister walking out, her being Evangeline was suicidal. So a lot of that was a visualization, and that's the one thing I did kind of respect about the show, is because they were bringing you suicidal tendencies from the point of view of the people that were thinking it. So it wasn't so black and white. You were seeing what they think with someone who is going through that would be going through, and that's sort of important. And then they also put on the 988 and all that at the end of their episode. So I'm still processing it, but I don't know letdown yet. Like I said, I had different outlooks of what I thought the show how, and it because it didn't end the way I thought it would end. I don't know if I'm let down yet. I'll wake up tomorrow with something different. Who knows? But next one.
I hit 30K views last March, but I cheated in live stream last year's NFL Honor Show. Poor TW McKay was my only mod in the chat. That was a shit show.
I remember you talking about. I think I remember you talking about that Canadian.
We should just take Junkie's name now, run that shit.
Now we were laughing because I had to leave his show to start ours, and Ben was like, "You're gonna compete with Film Junkie?" I'm like, "I got 8 followers. He has like 38,000. There's no competition there." So that's why I put that joke out there.
And Droga says, "Why is his name Pooh? Is he fecal?" Oh God, man.
No, he's not Vince McMahon.
Yes, I was about to make the same joke.
Mark Lesnar, apparently.
Is Ruth actually a killer? What you didn't hear? Of course, Ruth's a killer.
No comment. Next one.
And speak of the devil, has it gone, Ruth?
Hey, Ruth, if you watch True Detective, look at Rose. That's like the Alaska version of you. That's what you see when Ruth has a little camera on her face,
Yeah, and it's like we don't see again the guys hanging from nooses on the other side of that camera,
or just taped up.
Yeah. Is Navarro dead or alive?
No, she's alive. She just went off the grid. If you look at the end of the show, she's sitting there on the porch with Danvers. She just didn't give Danvers didn't give any information to those dumbass cops. Who, by the way, dumbass cops in that end scene. If you bought that, you're fucking dumb. I know she was cool and composed telling you that bullshit, but I guess when you don't have any evidence, you just really don't have any. When you kill people out in ice, fuck it. There's so many. That's like when Vegas wasn't Vegas, when there was just more desert to bury people under because you knew that some kind of casino was going to get built there. I guess that's what Night Country is, because they just said, okay, this isn't strange. This isn't strange to you now. What are you going to do now? I'm on job. And the thing about it is, if you know, if I kill anything, I have a conscience about. Damn, that's even if I was justified in killing it. These people had no conscience. Partner just went on about his life. Dude, you just blasted your dad last episode. You're sleeping, you're okay? I'd be pacing around. Danvers was like, she didn't have any conscience. She didn't kill Wheeler years ago. And she was about to do it. Navarro was like, fuck it, bam. These people are like cold-blooded. No conscience. They could be in the mob. They could literally be Murder Incorporated. That's what they should have renamed the show. Murder Incorporated in the ice. Or Ice Cold Cop. I mean, geez whiz. You know, yeah, that they were but yeah, Evangeline, she's there. She's I guess she didn't want to answer any questions, but she's hanging out with Danvers. Who knows what's gonna go from there. Just leave that to your imagination, I guess.
Yeah.
Next one.
The director said she leaves that up to the viewer.
As far as what happens to
but I think she's
no, she's at the Austin. Look at the end. She's sitting there drinking coffee with her and on their porch. At least that I saw her. The last scene she's sitting. Didn't you? I don't know if you guys cut away before they showed that, but yeah, she's sitting. Danvers is sitting on the porch, and Navarro comes out with a cup of coffee. So I'm assuming that they're alive, unless it's just another ghost. But all the hallucinations were done by that time, you know.
There's still desert out here in Nevada.
Yep. Yeah.
Austin, she walked out into the ice with no coat and no phone.
Yeah, but okay, so Spidey, and I guess Austin too, what's the scene when you see her talking? I mean, they're on the porch just talking. I mean, they're just, this is after everything. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. So fucked up my head. I don't know if I want to do a rewatch of this show.
How's it going? Fun?
Fun. The guy's so nice, they named it twice.
So, fourth is a good one here. If tips hat to Ruthless.
Yeah.
Actually, that would have been Ruth. That would have been so. Yeah, well, she did make that. I just noticed that she made that Ruthless Death by Donuts.
What's the Death by Donuts, by the way? Did I miss something in the chat the other day? What
no. Is a guy? Maybe it's got is it got anything to do with that Treehouse of Horror episode where Homer goes to hell and they feed him like all the donuts in the world and he just balloons up and then he gets his head turned into a donut at the end.
Okay, I'll let her explain that one. Next one.
Let's see. Come on.
I really did like the score.
She's not drinking coffee. She just walks up next to Liz. It's more like season 1 on how Rustin had a change of heart after his near-death experience. Liz is more open to the supernatural now.
So, okay. They didn't give me enough meat on that bone to either way. I don't think she's dead. I just think she's gone. But then again, that's a comment. It's like when Sopranos. I will never forget the end of Sopranos. I thought my DVR had fucked up. The way Sopranos end, when that black screen, I was speeding around. I was exiting out, getting back in, and then I realized I'm finding out on the web that was the ending. HBO does shit like that. So, yeah. Next one.
Let's see. Brad, you serious to draw us the Aquafina's Lois Lane and Jemima Olsen? I have not, so I'll check that out, man. Actually, wait a minute. I think I did actually see.
Wow, that's on the topic.
Oh yeah, I did see that, man. Okay, sorry, I saw that like an hour ago. So
we'll bring that up later on when we open.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're doing this really, your fan fiction Elseworld thing. You're doing it's really like you were like taking like everything. It's like the hip bone now is connected to the ankle bone, and the shoulder bone's connected to the like the.
Okay. It sounds like a creepy limerick you're singing, Brad.
Yeah, but really, he's like taking everything, and it's like he's just shuffling it all around. It's like now, it's now Clark is like him and like Vicky Vale got together or something. That's what Drogo's doing. So I think we're pretty dirty. Sorry, this is Dirty Water coincided with the long night, but it wasn't the worst that mine did, and had a little to do with the actual mystery.
Yeah, it just gave you a smokescreen to look at, in the mine closing at the end was kind of cool. But the mine, were it not for the mine, though, yeah, it wasn't but biggest part of the memory as I thought. Where did the lady go? Where did the mine owner? She just, I mean, she just kind of disappears. I mean, I guess she played her part, but yeah, the mine. If you didn't have, had it not have been for the mine, you wouldn't have had Salal. I mean, Salal was really the bad guy. They were the bad guys. And the mine covering up. So the mine were the secondary bad guys. I thought the mine would be the first thing, but the pollution. But still, fuck those guys. I mean, once you think about it, all those babies. Remember that episode with all the babies in the coffin? That's on them. They were doing this whole greater good thing, but that's kind of fucked up. And like I said, I did like the explanation of when the ladies came after them and they went in there in the shotgun, and they were they were like, we left their clothes for them and if she wanted them, and there was a lot of lore in here, a lot of folklore in here that just is basically left up to us, which is fine. I thought, like I said, overall, I think the season landed the plane well enough. Would I have liked a little bit more to chew on there? Like I said, the mine lady needed her ass kicked. Even if she wasn't the main villain, she's still a bitch. Fuck her. I mean, she Salal and them, she knew about it. She's a mother, and she didn't care about what they knew what was going on. All the cancers, all the morbidity amongst the infant mortality. That she knew all that. All those guys that were involved knew about that, and they were just okay with it. So she needed her comeuppance too. And I wanted her to have a fight with Jodie Foster or something.
Also, Foster tells her if she ever does decide to follow that voice to come back, I think she meant that in a supernatural manner. And she tells the cops that no one ever really leaves Ennis, alluding to what Rose said in episode 1 about the dead Navarro was more likely dead.
I have no evidence to refute that or agree. I don't, because it's kind of like Blade Runner 2049, where Officer K goes out there and lays down on the steps. And when Denny Villeneuve said he's leaving out of test. By the way, listen, guys. I am the viewer. I'm not the writer. Stop leaving shit up to me. End it. Let me know what's going on. I hate when I go to movies and this is not Blade Runner, but a lot of movies are like, well, I wanted to leave it up to the viewer. Well, then you fucking give me a free ticket then. If I got to write your ending, why am I paying for the movie? I really, more times than not, I want the writer to stick it for me. I don't like the ambiguity, because, like I said, I'm glad. I want to tell myself, because, like I said, the specter of suicide is all over this show. I mean, literally. I would like to believe that Navarro is just out there somewhere kicking it, but you know what? But there's no. If you were to come to me and tell me that she knocked herself, she killed herself and walked out of the night, I wouldn't be able. There's nothing there to tell me for me to tell you you're wrong. I mean, it's just, like I said, that kind of ambiguity I'm kind of okay with. But then I'm like, wait a minute, you guys are professionals. I'm a dummy. Why am I? Well, you want my imagination to put on this?
She's the dark hand that evades justice. Mighty Rax. Hold on, yeah. Fourth, it's a girl. I think she's something she was recommending to.
She's recommending horror again.
Yeah, what's this? You're recommending here, Ruth? Can you type it again on the comments? And Spider-Man wants me to bring up this one he left. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Something about a tongue.
Oh, yeah, what the hell? I mean, they kind of brought it up because it's her tongue. The women didn't do it. And, well, I can't ask the cop who moved the body because he's dead. I guess I'm going to go into the basic assumption that in order to throw the general public off their trail, that he did the tongue, and to make it like it could have been any minor. And because you would have suspected the mine, which was they had enough money not to get, and they owned the police station. But if you selected Salal, it would have been a bigger issue. But once again, she comes back and asks those ladies about that, and they didn't know. So I'm left to believe that maybe it's not.
The tongue was a centerpiece of evidence. They shouldn't have left its place.
Exactly. Like I said, there are certain things that I would have been okay with them leaving, like Navarro being dead or alive. That's okay. That's fine. But that tongue was a central part of the whole series. and it was meant for you to believe that that they it was to shut her up when they really killed her out of race. So I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, I'm gonna do their job and write their show. I guess I don't know that it was what's his face the father, the cop father. Why can't I remember his name right now? That did that. So I don't know. Hold on for a second.
Okay, it was dash cam. Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Ruth. I saw you mention something. And also it's found footage. I'm looking it up right now. Oh, I'm gonna look that. I'm gonna pull that up then.
I will not be watching that.
I'm gonna do that because I love found footage.
Cloverfield turned me off of that shit.
It'll be a sourpuss, man. Come on, VHS. The next one that's gonna be dropping for Halloween. You got to get up with it.
I can't enjoy it. It's hard for me to enjoy it.
Tongue that only has one small tongue to taste with.
He's being funny. It's Clint's black humor
there. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like it's right up my alley, Ruth. So I'll definitely pulling it up. Okay. I think we're pretty. No, Fourth has one he wants me to pull up. I mean, last time a director left an ending up to William H. Jones, the worst version of Blade Runner.
No, he didn't. He didn't leave it up to. He as far as I'm concerned, like I said, the international cut, because Deckard's a replicant, or Deckard is a replicant, and we're not even going to have that discussion.
That's wrong. Yeah, for me as somebody who's, again, it's like I'm a little bit more outside. Having seen both the movies, but not being like deep in the Blade Runner fandom. It's kind of a question I've always had. Is with the first one, is like, what is. And I'm sure this will vary from person to person, asking this question, but which version of the first Blade Runner is generally kind of considered the definitive one by most Blade Runner fans?
Most ones I know personally, it's going to be the international cut because it has everything on it. It has the voiceovers, and it has the ending footage that to me is Ridley Scott saying that, because there's a scene at the end.
There's 7 versions.
Yeah, there's 7 versions, but the international cut that came with the briefcase is the one that I hold dearest, and most people that I know think is a definitive version. There are some people that like the director's cut. The director's cut has that ending in also, but no voiceover. I think the director international cut is the most complete cut. It is the closest to what he meant to tell you.
Okay. So, and how's it going, Phil? Pegging isn't new to me, friend, but it's for Disney. Oh, wrong universe. Okay. Austin says for him it's the final cut. This is personal favorite. Oh, sorry, it's the final cut. This is personal favorite of Blade Runner. Which again, it's like I
haven't seen a final cut in like so many years. The final cut came outside the briefcase as well, because you could get all the versions separately. I got them in the silver briefcase, but I haven't watched the final cut in at least 6-7 years. Every time I watch Blade Runner the original again, it's the international cut. Even though I have all those versions, I have every version of Blade Runner.
Also, maybe like for our viewers tonight, anybody who's not as knowledgeable about the because Blade Runner, of course, the production history, of course, plays into why there would be an alternate cut. But maybe give a little bit of background for anybody watching, maybe is not as knowledgeable. Like, why are there specifically 7 versions of it?
What ended up happening when it was a lot of friction in between Hampton Fincher and a couple other guys that were involved in the screenplay, Alan Ladd and the production company. There were just things when they would watch the movie, they kept changing a lot of it because the movie that Ridley Scott put out, it just wasn't translatable. It wasn't something that would translate over. Even the final version that they released in the theaters back in 1982 left a lot of people, it just didn't make that kind of connection. And there's a lot of things that were added in. They changed the sound score because the sound score, Alan Ladd thought that the sound score in the original wasn't contemporary enough to go along with the movies that were being released at the time. There were parts in the story that they didn't think needed to be there. They didn't feel that there needed to be. This is in '82. This is 42 years ago. that Deckard being a replicant was relevant to the story, even though Ridley Scott did. There's just a lot of stuff that was moved around in there, but a lot of it, like I said, the voiceovers, they did not want to do that. Harrison Ford didn't want to do that, and Ridley Scott was adamant against it. But Alan Ladd, who was the producer, said, "Well, this movie's difficult to understand. If we don't have people explaining it, this movie's going to bomb." And there was a lot of footage that they shot that just they shot the movie out of sequence in order to put it back together, and then certain things that just once they were changing their minds didn't fit. So the one that you got released, and a lot of the stuff that was redone when Ridley Scott came back to the movie, there was a lot of stuff that was redone, like certain death, like Zora's death scene was a lady with a horrible wig, and it was shot poorly. He reshot that. A lot of that stuff like that. But if you look at the I actually have there's a video that I was watching prior to the 40th anniversary. It shows you every single difference from one to the other. There's subtle differences, but a lot of it is because there's a lot of stuff that they shot in different ways, sound scores, stuff like that they changed it. But like I said, the basic premise of the movie though is the same. The story does not change no matter what version of Blade Runner you watch. It's pretty much the same premise. The only significant things that change as you get into the later cuts is that Harrison Ford, Deckard's dream of the unicorn, is right after you discover that the only way that replicants have memories is via implants. And now Rachel, the reason why she doesn't know what she is because she's been given implants from the beginning. So she doesn't believe she's a replicant, and that's why the Voight-Kampff test it takes him forever to determine that she's a replicant. And what I get the premise of is that Deckard is the same way. Deckard, he's sleeping, and he has after he's done with the man, he has a memory of a unicorn. At the end of the movie, where Gaff comes to visit them, his orders were to kill him. His orders were to kill her, probably possibly him. But what he didn't realize is Tyrell didn't give her a 4-year lifespan. And Deckard probably was the same way. So that's why he said, why kill him? Why kill her? She's going to be dead, soon anyway. And he didn't realize that Tyrell had made her a prototype as well. And he leaves a origami because Gaff, for those of you who weren't, he does go origamis throughout, even in his appearance in Blade Runner. He leaves an origami of a unicorn. The unicorn that Deckard had a dream of. Yeah. And to imply that he knows that Deckard's a replicant. And when Blade Runner 2049, the only ones who hunt other Blade Runners are now replicants, and they're openly replicants. To me, that was Deckard was the prototype for what would be openly portrayed in Blade Runner 2049. And also, Rachel was a prototype as well because replicants were not supposed to be able to procreate, and she was able to.
Okay, so we need to like do. I mean, we already done the watch party on Blade Runner 2049, but we need to do like a stream just devoted to like the Blade Runner universe at some point where William can like really just go to town on it for everybody.
Yeah, because when me and Scott from Squadcast.
Yeah,
Film Junkie, we did one with a couple other guests, and we did one on the 40th anniversary of.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think.
But
yeah, I do think I remember that now. That was 2 years ago now.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. The difference is that we didn't have Blade Runner Black Lotus. We didn't have the announcement of Blade Runner 2099. So there's a lot more to talk about now than there was 2 years. So yeah, we need to do an overall Blade Runner. And by the way, guys, if you have not watched Blade Runner Black Lotus, please watch it. I'm not the biggest anime guy, but it's done in anime. It's done more of an animation style, but it's 13 episodes. And if you love Blade Runner, you'll love that show.
And also, by the way, it's like I need to plug also that there is actually a third Blade Runner movie out there. It's called Soldier with Jason Scott Lee and
I appreciate Brad and everything he's done to help the show and the fact that he brings credibility to the show, but I can't. That's like kicking me in the face right there. That's so disrespectful. That is not. Oh my God,
guys, look it up. It is officially considered part of the Blade Runner universe.
I will ban each and every one of you. This fucking job. that has been. It's not really. It's not. I've been hearing that since that movie first came out, and I'm like, I saw that, and I'm like, okay, I am part of the Blade Runner cult. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah,
You
I just
know.
did it. I just did that too. I just because I knew William would love that, so I wanted to
All
drop
right, you know what? Now I don't feel sorry for you
that.
when they come after you with scary movie shit. I don't feel sorry. I was showing pity to you. I'm like, poor Brad. Nah, fuck him.
Yeah, are you? Do you mean? Are you? So are you? There is no way you could tell me the Straight Faces Soldier is not better than Scary Movie.
Oh, I don't have an opinion on Scary Movie because I mean you already know how I feel about those movies. Soldier just wasn't a very good science fiction movie, so I mean, but it's not connected to Blade Runner.
Yeah, I got pruned a little bit there, Phil. Yeah. Yes, and of course, blame me.
Yeah, for that,
I mean, I made a believer out of Nick. And how you doing tonight, Nick?
How you doing, Nick? I believe it, Brad. No, Nick, come on, don't be corrupted by this.
Blame Brad's credibility.
Yeah, man, that one took your credibility. Took a shot with that one, buddy.
Well, going back to just the the main line Blade Runner timeline again. This is okay. So we will leave Soldier out for the sake of Williams his purity on this, even though it's like some of us beg to differ. It's like you got you got my man Jason Scott Lee in it. Come on, that's got to that automatically.
But anyway, it could have had the resurrected ghost of Bruce Lee in it. It's not Blade Runner. So, I mean, it's just not.
Well, yeah, the guy who played him. So there you go. So it's like that's close enough.
Blasphemy.
That probably is blasphemy. But Bruce Lee blasphemy, but not Blade Runner blasphemy. But going back to the mainline one is now which one was the version that Ridley Scott got to do some additional filming on? That was the final cut, wasn't it?
That's going to be the final cut.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where he reshot Zora's death. Like I said, if you buy, I have the DVDs, and you can actually. That's the one cool thing about physical media, because the stuff that they have on these streamers, they don't have those special features.
Okay. You're gonna love this one for fourth here. He probably would have said that without my prompting anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he whatever.
Believe Brad. Yes, it does.
No.
Yeah. Now they're all like Monkey Jeebus has some wins like Avatar as part of Blade Runner.
I mean, if you're gonna throw Soldier in there, you can throw anything in there then.
Prometheus. Okay, you guys are going to town on that. Then the fourth Universal Soldier is the fifth part of Blade Runner.
Sure. Don't bring that. Just staining my screen.
No, listen, guys. If you haven't seen Regeneration or Day of Reckoning in the universe, those are the best of the Universal Soldier franchise. Those are awesome.
That far. Once I saw the first one and it sucked, I just didn't. Then it was like it wasn't Goldberg. Goldberg was in one of those, wasn't he?
Well, what it was, you see, here's because Universal Soldier had this really weird trajectory. We had the first one in '92, then they had two made-for-TV sequels that didn't have Van Damme or Dolph Lundgren in them, so they were kind of and they're not good at all, but they were kind of out there. And then they did this Universal Soldier Return '99, which that basically retcons itself to be like the official number 2, and that was the one with Goldberg and also the one with Michael Jai White as the Universal Soldier villain. Then they had in 2010 they had a Universal Soldier Regeneration, which that was another retcon sequel. That's it's taking off directly from the first one, and they brought back Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. And then you had a Day of Reckoning after that. That was brought them back, and also Scott Adkins as the new guy in it. There's the new main Unisol in it. So it's had this really weird. It's been retconned so many. It's like Hollywood.
Why did I know we were going to end up with Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins somehow, some way? I knew we were going to end up there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I should mention also the Day of Reckoning came out the same year as The Raid.
It doesn't matter. We could be talking about armadillos or something, and it's going to lead back to those guys. It's like.
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man appreciates that. And how's it going, Aaron?
Hi, Aaron.
Hey,
don't forget, Aaron. Don't forget this weekend.
I got my own thing this weekend to look forward to. God, the things I do for you guys.
By the way, do we make it to do? Come on, guys. Somebody make a donation.
Yes,
Yeah,
if I have to go through this pain, you guys have to like put less pain in the world by donating to our AFSP donation. Get us as close as we can before Scary Movie to $8,000.
There you
go. Phil. No,
yeah,
it's not.
Get him, Phil. Get him, Phil.
No, it's not, Phil.
Get him, Phil.
No, it's not. It is not.
Hey, listen, it's cinema for some people who like those movies. It's like me. It's like me and Deadpool. I think the Deadpool movies are stupid. I think the character's stupid. But I know tons of people who live for these movies and cannot wait to see 3. And I'm like, that's cinema to them. It's not to me. See, it's all subjective. So.
Birds of Prey is 100 billion times more.
Oh yeah, you tried to defend that awful movie the other night. That movie sucks. I'm sorry, Phil. That movie sucks. And it's just, it was a waste of a Harley Quinn appearance because
I do appreciate we're going equal opportunity on the two of us tonight, though, Phil. But yes, Nick, of course, is like, yes, I'm telling you guys, you have to trust me when I recommend stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Okay, this is what I'm saying about Soldier. It's part of the Blade Runner cinematic universe. But anyway, yeah, going back to that, and where's this one that Ruth brought up?
Hold on.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, William, please do a Blade Runner watch along. I've never seen the movie, but feel as if I would need to watch it with commentary.
No problem. Hold on. Having a
Phil's still going strong. He has Deadpool 1 is cinema and Deadpool 2 is action porn.
Like I said, my opinions about Deadpool are pretty much like I said, I know I'm in the vast minority. I just don't like the character. And for me, it's hard to, when it comes to comic book movies, if I don't like the character, it's really hard for me to get into movies about the character.
No, I get it. I mean, it's like I'm trying to think like what's a good example of one that specifically on the character that I really didn't, because I've never been a big Ant-Man guy. I like the first one. The first one I thought was pretty good, but the second two, the second, even Quantumania, both Quantumania and
I thought the second one was actually pretty good.
I barely remember them. It's like other than
it wasn't great, but my relationship with Ant-Man, I don't either way. I don't have a I don't have a hatred or a love for Ant-Man. I have a hatred for Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I remember, and now that's like the next time Phil is on, he's going to be wearing his Deadpool mask too.
Oh, there's tons of them out there, dude.
But in the second Ant-Man, like the main thing I remember from it is is the end credits scene, which had them turning to dust, because that was the last one. That was
actually pretty cool. I remember
that was pretty cool. That was pretty. Yeah, I didn't either. That was pretty good curveball.
I remember being in Infinity War, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it happened." I'm like, "Yeah, I can believe it happened, because you know why? 30 years ago, this was actually depicted in comics, and it was one of the dumbest stories that they did because it went on too long. If they would just let Jim Starlin do what he was originally going to do, the Infinity War, Infinity Watch, and Infinity Quest, all this stuff just grew and grew and grew, and it's like, oh my god!" And then, like I said, Thanos, who's actually still stupid in the comics, because that's how Jim Starlin wanted him to be, he ends up trying to become one with the universe, leaving the gauntlet behind, and his half-burnt granddaughter that he set on fire, and for some reason is just keeping around like a trophy, Nebula, ends up picking up the gauntlet, undoing everything, and then Adam Warlock comes and outsmarts her, and I'm like, what the hell? And by the way, where the fuck was Adam Warlock in all of this entire Infinity Saga? He's a major part. Whenever you saw Thanos, you saw Pip, Gamora, Drax. They were all a family of characters that only Jim Starlin could write. And when he left, when he stopped doing those books, he killed those characters. And when he came back to write Silver Surfer with Ron Lim, he bought those characters back. So yeah, when I see how Marvel depicted him, it was all right, but it was like, They made Thanos into a mastermind, and he's not. He got beat by Tigra. No, he got beat by Hellcat. He got beat by a D-lister. He got beat by a D-list Avenger.
And for the record, who and with everything you just said, there is like, who out there is still pushing the mistaken theory that Thanos would take down Darkseid?
There's no way.
There is no way. There is
I mean,
absolutely no way.
his only hope, because everybody thinks, because if you watch and you only know these characters in the MCU, you think that the Infinity Gauntlet is something that automatically is something he's always had. It's not. Without the Infinity Gauntlet, he's still powerful. He's still an Eternal. But he's not. Darkseid is literally a god.
Yeah, he's
Darkseid has
a new
power.
god, in fact.
Yeah, even before the Omega Effect, Darkseid had powers of a new god. Now, just imagine like Orion, his son.
Yeah,
And that he had powers similar to his son, and his son could kill him. His son's one of the few people that can actually take out Darkseid. And if you watch or listen to Kingdom Come, that's it's his son. Orion is the one that rules Apocalypse because he's killed Darkseid because he was prophesied to kill him. But even beyond just being a new god, once he claimed the Omega Effect, and went from being Uxos to Darkseid, he's even more powerful. The Omega Effect can do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Phil says Darkseid clowns Thanos sandwich.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I remember saying I was joking around on Twitter about this when Zach was first when he was first dropping images of Darkseid on Vero and sending the internet into a frenzy every time he was showing Darkseid. Some of the shots were incomplete, but he showed some pretty guns. And then I remember,
I remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was awesome. I remember that time was just, oh man, that was so much fun.
When he dropped that one trailer. Remember when the trailer opened up with Darkseid? And we didn't
yeah. And I this a couple times. I did it. I did this a couple of times where I would take one of those images, I would quote tweet it, and what I said was, of course, I'm playing off of Doctor Strange looking into the future here with the Time Stone. I said everybody just so you know, there were 14,605 possible different futures or different outcomes of the where Darkseid battles Thanos, and they all end with Darkseid tearing off Thanos' head and blowing his nose with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, his best bet is because he has the Infinity, but even then, it's all who's writing him. It's all who's writing him. Hold on, I got it.
Batman shot Darkseid with a Radion bullet in front of Christopher Reeves. All hail Grant Morrison. Yes, indeed, of course.
That might have been one of the best parts of Infinite Crisis, and that was Infinite Crisis storyline was the battle between him and Batman was really. That's how I want Batman on my side. I don't care who I'm fighting.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Spider-Man has a good one here. Blade Runner 2039, aka Batman Beyond.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you're gonna if Denis Villeneuve ever came and said, "I'm gonna do
something like Batman Beyond,"
yeah, I might think it might actually have a chance of happening. But
I think like the look of the future in Blade Runner, that'd be a pretty good template for something like a live action Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were gonna have Batman Beyond, you'd already have it already. But one thing about James Gunn is James Gunn's giving you Creature Commandos. So if you ever have a chance of getting Batman Beyond made, it's with this guy.
Aaron says Nolan won his. Yes, I saw that he won his BAFTA today.
Yeah. That swept a whole bunch of stuff. I think it swept everything. I think what's his face won for Best Actor, which I think he's going to end up winning at the Oscars. I think Oppenheimer. Yeah. Like I said, now without Dune, Oppenheimer is going to sweep.
Yeah, I agree. But like we were talking about last night with Dune Part 2, the early responses we've been seeing, it's like that's like that really. I'm getting more excited for that. But it's like I have not read the books. It's all right. I'm not.
Don't. It's not necessary, and you're going to bore yourself to gray hair.
But it's like I'm somebody who came into Dune basically, through the. Well, I'd seen the original one, but and ironically enough, I first caught the 84 Dune that had that really really long intro, like laying out like the whole.
It does a good job for the 80s.
Yeah, but it's like 10 minutes long, that intro with all those like graphics, and it says like this is the House of Bene Gesserit, and this is the Spacing Guild, and we're in the year 10,138, and here's each planet. So it lays it out, but it also takes like 10 minutes to get there. But
the way Denny did it, he structured the movie to where I bought people to that movie that just didn't know anything about Dune and stayed away from Dune because they thought it was so complex. And then he lays it out. Like I said, if you watched anything that has political intrigue in it, you were good. You were fine. He laid it out for
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah, but so the original, I don't know if I shared the story on here before. Like the 1984 one, I first saw that on I was like 10 years old or 11 years old, like channel surfing, and I caught it on the Disney Channel. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea how it ended up on there, but it somehow, yeah. But so that was my soft intro. And then of course, the 2021 movie comes along. So it's like, I'm somebody who's coming into it as basically as a normie into the Dune.
Probably the best way, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to this big time with the second one coming up.
I want to have dude. I haven't had a religious experience at a movie since Blade Runner 2049. And like I said, I shit you not, that movie was long as fuck. And I had to pee like about an hour and a half into it. I didn't move. When they played it, we played it, I think it was Sony Dolby or some whatever. I forgot where we went to go see it at Texas, which is gone now. And they had they had the state of the art, and they said, go see it in the best sound you can get it. Zimmer and Walters soundtrack. That's why that one's my favorite, because it literally overtakes you if you see it in the right environment. And they did they wrapped, when they're rolling the credits, they're playing a lot of the main songs, and you hear them without voiceover and everything else, and it's really good. And I sat there until the lights came on. Like people do with a comic book post-credit scene when you're all I sat there because I did not want to leave that theater. I wanted to take in everything I was watching and hearing for that entire movie, and I waited for a while to do my review. My review, I think, is still online. That's when I was still doing my Frappuccino. I'm going to bring my Frapp review back, and the highest you could get was 5 Frapps. I gave Blade Runner 6. Blade Runner 2049 was epic, and like I said, I had every reason as a card-carrying cult member of the original since I was a kid all the way up until I saw that movie, to fear how could they fuck this up, especially after having seen Independence Day Resurgence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and when I saw it, I'm like, and like I said, a lot of my Blade Runner brothers were like, no way you're saying that this movie is a better. And again, I did, and it doesn't hurt the original. It surrounds the original. It augments the original. It builds the story. When you watch 2049 and then you go back and watch the original, I think it just literally makes that movie better. It's one of the few sequels where it makes the original better just by existing. So yeah, I that's my last religious experience. So now, guess what? Looks like the next one's going to be by the same guy. It's getting to the point where, like I said, he could come to me with anything, and I'm going to give it a shot. Pick the worst, pick the dumbest shit. Then he's doing Howard the Duck. You know what? Fuck it, I'm in. I'm in.
I'm going to throw you guys in the chat some red meat. Danny's doing Scary Movie 6.
I'm in. Because his style is going to overwhelm any negatives you could possibly do. If he wants to do a rom-com, I know he's going to put a musical score in there that might in itself be worth it. If you listen to I'm a cheap ass. I don't buy physical media musical scores anymore. It's been a long time. There was only 2,049 of those made, and I bought one of those. And the sound score, I think it's Zimmer's best. You listen to Seawall. Let me put. I think I put this in the chat every now and then, but I'm gonna put Seawall in there for those of you. Well, for those of you who did not watch with us, because it was Seawall is where they were fighting,
and that's about the most quiet you probably are ever going to hear me on a watch along, because that was because I'm not the Blade Runner expert here. I just kind of wanted to let William have the floor there, so that's why
I think I ran my fucking mouth that whole show.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of it. And this is the 9-minute score, and it's a part where he's fighting Love in the basin, the actual seawall, and what they did with the music and he did the same thing in Dune. he has whoever's doing the score. You start out to where you can barely hear it, and it's like a buzz, it's like a hum, right? And then it climbs and climbs and climbs, and all of a sudden you're just like swimming in this music. And that's what he did with Seawall. So you listen to it here, it's all consistent, but when you play it, he played it in the theaters, it escalated up until the point where he drowns her. And it's beautifully done. That's just a little thing that filmmakers do that you don't necessarily notice outright, but you realize, wow, especially when you're watching it at your house and you realize that, you get to see it again and appreciate it again. But 2049, I mean, like I said, so I'm looking for Dune 2 to be very similar to what I felt come out. And if that's the case, holy shit,
Yeah, well, a lot of people in the chat are too. Ruth is looking forward to it. She wants the popcorn bucket that everybody's so freaked out about.
I was watching, like I said, I watched Campia and Chris Carr, the chirpy cartoon voice girl, and she's like, people are gonna want to know if you're gonna put a dick in it. I mean, when her hearing it in her little cartoon voice, it was so everybody was busting up. I just was like, obviously, you look at it, it is what it is.
Yeah,
as
well.
I only have to wait. I have to wait. I think it's 6 more days because I get to see it on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a show that early for me, so I'm gonna have to wait until the Thursday night, like the main Thursday night preview show. But yeah, definitely gonna be there for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a review. I'm gonna have a spoiler-free review, and we are definitely having a Dune spoiler show.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, I'm there for that. Aaron says Blade Runner sequels like Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator 2 is one of the great sequels ever made.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, Aaron, I got to give Aaron a shout out here because it's like we're like two peas in a pod, Aaron. I mean, it's like we're just on the same wavelength on everything. And one of the things I'm going to pull this up here. I'm going to pull this up right now because anybody you may have noticed on Twitter a little bit of a back and forth debate on Starship Troopers has emerged in the last 5 days or so. Yeah. And kind of as an offshoot of that, one thing that's being debated now is, okay, Johnny Rico, who was because they have the love triangle. It's like, who was the best girl for Johnny Rico? Was it Carmen or was it Dizzy? And I put out my thoughts.
Gina Meyer's character.
Yeah, and I said I will not tolerate besmirching the honor of Dizzy Flores on this platform. And Aaron, chimed in as Dizzy or Carmen. Yes, you're right, Aaron. Of course.
Well, you've corrupted her, so she's gonna do whatever you want. I mean,
no, that's not corruption. Come on, everybody. Dizzy was like she was the one. He let her go, and she got killed by the bug at the end. Like, no, Dizzy was awesome, and Dina Meyer is like, I had a crush on her after Starship Troopers. I was like 13 or 14 when I first saw that. So with anybody, it's like. It's the debate over Carmen versus Dizzy. So contest. I'm sorry, it's Dizzy.
Somebody just tried to screw me on Facebook by trying to fish my password. Ooh. Listen, guys, you guys got to do better than this. If you actually think I'm going to reply to no reply at facebookmail.com? And if you have a Gmail account, I'm like, come on, what are you doing? Oh well. It's whatever.
Okay. All right, see you later, Phil. He's taking off. He's gonna.
See you later, Phil.
There, man. Thanks for dropping in. What's that? Yes, Aaron again. Is like, yes, of course, yes, because it was Dizzy. Because she was going to war for Johnny. Okay, she was totally devoted to him. She was so enamored with him, but she wasn't she wasn't a pushover either. She was ready to stand her ground against the drill sergeants. Like she just loved him with everything she had. She was going to the other end of the universe for him. Come on, it was Dizzy. It wasn't Carmen. Got this, man. Okay. Done. So after going off on that little tangent, Aaron also says, yeah, Dune 2 is going to be epic. Yes, I agree.
Hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna handle this real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna go through the chat while you're thinking on that. And by the way, also the other thing I thought, again, this is showing me as kind of entering Dune as a normie, where I joked around a lot with a lot of friends and colleagues when the first one was come up when I said, okay, my bar for giant sandworm movies is is like the Tremors franchise. If you're not giving me sandworms as good as that, you're not doing it right. Because okay, you got that.
It's not even the same. How do you even? What are you talking? What are you saying right now, dude?
Listen, I grew up with the Graboids, okay, and the
They're
Shriekers
not,
and the Ass
dude.
Blasters.
The sandworms in Dune are like a religious, monstrous type of thing, but they're also a rite of passage type. And
Yeah, I get it.
those graboids are killers. They're just they're great in their own respect, but come on, man. That's the same.
Well, yeah, that's like that's the thing that jumped out at me when I first saw Dune was the fact that they do treat they treat the sandworms as almost like they treat it almost like a Pegasus. They almost treat it like that kind of reverence.
And Paul Atreides riding them in every version that you'll ever see is still one of the coolest things out there.
Yeah, that's look at having that part, and then in the new one, that's gonna be cool. I remember thinking too in the original when he rides it in the original, and because you're talking about this, the other people who had seen it when he like pries open like one of its scales or something like that, and so that when it rotates, he can ride it to the top, and he puts the little his little spike and so he can kind of get a harness on there. And I remember one guy telling me it's like, oh, didn't he piss off the worm when he did that? And I'm looking, I'm like, that. I mean, that's gonna that would be like the equivalent of a mosquito bite to that worm. It's like, no, he's not gonna feel it.
He's not gonna feel that. They got calluses and everything on that thing, so yeah.
So, the past, and I don't know what caused it either. The past few days of like this sudden out of nowhere Starship Troopers debate.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the anniversary. I know it got released in 96, 97?
97, yeah. So it's been
it's been 27 years, so it's not even an anniversary.
It might be like election related. I don't know. Because it's definitely got themes in it that people definitely pull up an election year. So yes, it would make a great watch party. I also watched when I was a kid. After they had an animated series. They had a 3D animated series.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
remember the ones that had faces on them. The ones that had the faces on them looked like they were human.
Yeah. I mean, it's not anywhere near as bloody as the movie, but because how could you do that? But I did enjoy continuing with this, and also
and there's a lot more aliens in the book that you don't see, and they
and also like a little plug here about 6 years ago, I actually got to interview Casper Van Dien, so that was a lot of fun and talk to Johnny Rico.
Dude, that was a serious bomb. I mean, it didn't lose money.
Yeah, it bombed, but that's the thing. It's like it bombed, but it had a staying power.
Yeah, it's a cult. It's like Rocky Horror,
or like Blade Runner.
Yeah, but 1982 was and the thing got released on the same day as
the thing was released the same day as Blade Runner.
As Blade Runner, and they both
well, and they both became these enduring sci-fi classics.
Yeah. Sometimes you just make shit that's ahead of your time.
Oh yeah. Let's see what else is up here in the chat, because I know William's still kind of dealing with someone trying to fish him.
Yeah, I got rid of him. Yeah, I'm like, dude, you got to do better than that. I'm back.
I got to finish Dune 1. Are you talking about the 84 one or the modern one? I think you're talking about the new one.
Yeah, he said he hasn't. He didn't have a really.
Yeah, it really is like it's like a sci-fi Ben-Hur with what they did. I mean, it's got like just this crazy epic scale.
But it is an abstract type of IP. That's why, like I said, that's why I think when Keelar released it like that,
when they did the day and date. Yeah, I agree. It benefited from that.
There's a lot of people that would not have given that IP a chance.
Yeah,
here we are.
Yeah, it was niche of niche.
I'm happy you did that.
Here's there was one. I think it was. Let me try to find this one. Okay, here it is from Spider-Man. The TV intro sequence in the 80s. Dune was one of the only things that got from the book properly. Yeah, but the thing about it was like it got it right, but it's like it's one of the longest intros I've ever seen.
I'm sorry. The Dune books, especially they suck. They are absolutely. They're so boring and they're so over descriptive, and it's like, all right, I get it. It's like I hated those books when I was a kid. I saw good stuff in there. I saw the premise was great, but the it was like, oh my goodness. It's like and then Stephen King's another one. So we're reading The Stand. I read The Stand, and I'm like, this book's like 1,200 pages long. A lot of it is because you're basically spending 3 or 4 pages to describe a blank wall in your way. And I'm like,
We don't need all that, dude. And a lot of the
Yeah.
character development in the book is like, oh my goodness. That's why I say if you want to get into Dune, don't do the books. In my opinion, just go.
So you think that the particularly Denny's movies, improve on the source material?
Yeah. Oh God, yes, because it cuts to the chase and it refines a lot of the stuff that you don't really need. That it slows the book down, in my opinion. He focuses on things that move it along and gets to the point. Now, if you watch the movies and you want to go back and read the books, I think you're in a better spot because there's some details and you'll see what I mean. There's a lot of stuff in there that just it doesn't move the story along.
Did Dizzy? Yeah. Oh yeah. Dina Meyer got. She was also in a couple of the Saw movies.
Oh yeah, she's a Butterfly Trap.
Yeah. She
and,
had.
And that was when you realized that that it was his assistant was crooked because she actually got the key to open that up and it still killed her.
Yeah. So yeah, she was. And that's why he put her in the test because it's like his whole ethos is he wants them to have a chance to escape, and she's like, no, I'm just going to torture people. Dina Meyer. It's like, oh, I've always had. She's a crush of mine, celebrities, and she was also, if you don't remember, she was Barbara Gordon. She was Oracle on the Birds of Prey TV show from the early 2000s. But she was actually pretty good on that.
I didn't watch 1 second of that show.
I thought she was a pretty good Oracle. I think she'd still be a pretty good Oracle, but Dizzy is close to my Dizzy is one of my favorite fictional lady soldiers, close to my heart. And yes, Starship Troopers is a cult classic. And yeah, it's just like with what Verhoeven did with RoboCop. It's one of those where, RoboCop. It's like you watch it now. It's like it is scary how it's legit scary how much it's predicted the future. Like other than like cyborg cops, the future of RoboCop is like it's the future we're in now. And Starship Troopers again, you watch it, you go in thinking this is just humans, fighting, giant bugs on another planet. It's just a, sci-fi, shoot 'em up kind of thing. But you don't realize until you see it, and you're old enough, you've taken history classes, and you see this is like if the Nazis, took over in the future, and we're seeing this through their eyes in the form of like a Lenny Riefenstahl propaganda movie. So Starship Troopers, yeah, it's very subversive. It's very clever, but it also works just on the level you just want to see humans go to war with giant bugs. So yeah, I love Starship Troopers. And yes, Dizzy was the one for Johnny, and he let her get away. I've looked. Jake Busey was the Gary Busey's son. He was the Ace Levy.
Guy gets his arm broken and he has that little water cast.
No. He's not the guy who gets his arm broken. He's the one when they're doing the drill, throwing the knives at the target. And he's like, I don't get it. Why we're blasting him away.
But but he has the bandage on his arm, doesn't he? Oh
no, that was another soldier. And so he's questioning.
No, that was Busey.
No, that was
in the shower with it. Yeah, that's him.
No, I'll tell you, that was a different soldier. That was the guy from the farm. He's like, sir, I guess maybe I do, sir.
Nah, that was Busey, dude.
No, I'll pull it up right now. I'll pull up the clip of when he gets his because he's the guy who gets the knife in his hand.
Because I don't remember the other guy. Well, that's next one. I don't know why we spent all the time with Starship Troopers.
I'll pull it up when he gets the knife through his hand, and then Clancy Brown says the enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand. And by the way, that's that's another thing about the basic training they show in Starship Troopers that would never fly, other than in a fascist society.
Nothing in that movie flies.
Well,
nothing in that movie flies.
Other than in a fascist society, though, it's like because the basic training, like they're breaking guys' arms, they're putting knives through their hands, they're
There's you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't keep anybody. Everybody would quit.
Yeah, guys you get whipped for accidents in basic training, so it's like that could only work within a fascist society.
Yeah, the most you'll have happening to you in basic training, you have to do push-ups and sit-ups and flutter kicks and and you'll have to do a lot of them. But and it gets annoying. But yeah, they don't. Now back when I was in basic training, they didn't fuck around with you. They did. They would throw you in the shit, and they would. They could hit you. But a couple of years later, they stopped all that because they were losing too many recruits to injury.
Starship Troopers also had the co-ed showers. What are your thoughts on that scene as a person who's in the military? Well, again, that's another thing that they would not do in our military. I mean, unless something's changed.
The thing about that scene, well, we would never do that. The thing of the psychology behind that scene, though, is that it's the most human that any of those people are in the movie, because when remember the conversation that they're having in that scene,
They're saying why they joined to become citizens, to have kids.
What they wanted to be a teacher, not everything about war. That's the only time that they're talking about everything that's not war, and they're not even looking at each other in that manner. So it was more about, them than it was about anything else. It was more than about them than it was about the war, about the killing, and even the nudity in that scene wasn't, we're looking at it from our points of view and be like, that would never happen. But the conversations that they're having before they're about to go out and get grinded up by these things, it was the most human that they are in the movie. That kind of scene, that scene was it's a bonkers, because, like I said, never happened in this day. Maybe 1,000 years from now, who knows? But the fact that it was more about the conversation about what they wanted to be, as opposed to what they are, which is killers.
Yeah, it's why they enlisted, and it's they have this idealistic idea of and they're laying out the way that things work now, where it's like you can't procreate without citizenship, and you can't achieve citizenship without military service, or you can't go into politics without it, or you can't do this and that without it. So it's laying out in a subtle way the way how much the world has changed in the future, in this future that's been set up, and how much our freedom have been restricted, but how much we have accepted that because we bought into all the propaganda of it's we give ourselves to the Federation, we give ourselves we're ready to lay down our lives even against an enemy that has that with the bugs that has not attacked us and has shown no motivation and to encroach on our territory.
That scene is actually, like I said, it's actually one of the more highly regarded scenes of there because of the acting jobs that's being done in there. And the cast would only agree to film that scene if Paul
Verhoeven went in nude with them.
And he did it.
Yeah, he did.
I'm like, that's dedication.
Yeah, that is dedication. Let's see. Oh, and also Hank for Breaking Bad is a fresh meat for the grinder. He was the guy signing him up with the the legs. The guy with no legs, and saying, "Oh, it's like the Federation made me what I am today." They see Spider-Man says, "Pull it up." Denis Villeneuve's first movie ends in the middle of the first book. It's way more faithful than the '80s one so far. I think you should give the book another chance, or at least check out the comic book.
No. Oh no, the comic is great. I have the comics. In fact, we're gonna feature. I have a lot of the comics because they have a lot. Boom puts them out, and they have each house. So they have. I'll show them. I have them in my scene on TV. The comics is good. I'm not giving the books another chance now. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
Well, how often does that? I mean, how often does that happen though? Where it's like when something starts, as a novel or as a comic or as any kind of source material, and it's like, and it starts out in your opinion as shit, but then the adaptation comes along and it turns it into what it should have been from the start.
Well, here's the thing, and a lot of it is just me specifically. They suck for me because my mind is I've read a lot. I mean, I read a lot and a lot. I mean, my vocabulary was defined by reading, but it got to the point where when I watched motion pictures based on these things, I'm like, the movies just got to the point of things a lot better, a lot quicker, and a lot more visual than I wanted to see. It's one thing to imagine what somebody wants you to do and be able to have that picture in your head. That's kind of cool, but I actually want to see it brought to life in ways that I can't do it in the book. And Dune, there's just too much there that I just didn't need. There's a lot of story there that I just didn't think moved the story along. And when you see these other adaptations, they focus on the points of the movie that are the points of the story that move it along in a way that my brain is a lot better with it. So it's a personal thing. All right, hit the like and subscribe. Keep us on our momentum, guys. Here you go.
I guess ours is taking a step away for a second there. Okay. Jenna Ratchak to William. I need a comic geek. You're it until you're dead or find someone better.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, that also is again shows the future. I mean, you're talking about like how they're humanized in that shower scene, but then again. Their mindset is so much on war when they go to fight the bugs. I mean, they get promotions by the guy ahead of them gets killed.
That's like World War II. That's what happened in World War II. You could be an NCO and enlisted if the platoon leader dies, and you were the first sergeant, and you're now the platoon leader, and then vice versa. You would have guys in there. That's how it happened in World War II. There are articles if you Google the shower scene.
Yeah.
If you Google it, because it was a funny joke about it, because a lot of people would look it up because of the myth that Paul Verhoeven, they made him shoot it that way. And if you want to find out what's true, and there's a lot of context to it. That is not, it's just more than just them hanging around naked. There's a context to it. And a lot of, the people who review this movie and watch it and later on in life, you look at that scene as, like I said, as in the sea of movie where all those people are portrayed as dipshits, falling into propaganda. It's the one part of the movie where they're not. Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty good thing. So, all right, next one.
This is Ford says Starship Troopers equals Aliens 902.0, and Ruth is kind of asking for some context on that. Ford says 90210 was a tween drama show with beautiful people. Starship Troopers is a combo of that and James Cameron's Aliens. To a certain extent, I can see that. And by the way, another again, talking about Starship Troopers, it's like pulling the wool over your eyes about the fact that you're cheering on Nazis this whole time. Think about the fact that, okay, this, the main, where all the characters come from is Buenos Aires, and it's nothing but white people.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. Unless they've been colonized, I don't know.
Yeah. But even that's like, then you got to wonder, because that's the question I always had. And like, okay, there are concentration camps out here somewhere that they're not showing us, but then they have like, black soldiers within the Federation. They have, so that's kind of like a weird mystery about Starship Troopers. Is like, they fall, the world has been taken over by fascism, but and Buenos Aires again is not looking like what Buenos Aires would look like, in terms of culture and ethnicity. But that raises the question, like, so what happened in the intervening years as far as the impact on did we have like any kind of eugenics program, or like was that applied selectively? Like why is Buenos Aires such a white city now?
Who they had at the time acting, and I guess next one.
Let's see, Brad. Can we watch the recruiting video? Oh, you want to see the? Okay, I'll pull up for Starship Troopers, the recruiting video.
Can't play that.
Why not?
It's a full scene of a movie.
No, the whole service guarantees citizenship.
Yeah, you can't play that on here.
What do you think? We'll get pulled down?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can I pull up the knife scene then?
How long is it?
That's about like 2 minutes. Or
That's
they don't know the heart. Huh?
Probably not. Anything more than 30 seconds tends to get us heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got to get better about that.
I just, I don't make those rules. I just, end up finding out how I fucked up when I have a little notice on one of my streams. Like, because sometimes when it comes to trailers, most of the copyright users let you use it. And like I said, when it's Warner Brothers, I usually get a link that allows me not to be identified as somebody who can play it without getting knocked down if it's an official or unofficial. Or when we get sent scenes or we get permission to send scenes, and they will send us a link. Like for Dune, the first Dune, they had us play a scene. Okay. But I actually got that scene from them. So yeah, I'm always sketchy about it. Ever since that's a dumb thing, it really pissed me off.
Yeah, Ruth says sorry about that.
Yeah, it's just they're not really clear about it, and that's the thing. Is if there were clear rules on these things, I would be like, no problem. I would know what my landmine is, but YouTube is not real good at communication.
Oh, by the way, like, because those PSAs and Starship Troopers, those are some of my favorite parts of the movie. And again, it's like they eerily parallel in some ways, like the 24-hour news cycle we have now. But one of my favorite ones is when it goes to the court scene, and it says a murderer was captured and tried today, and the judge just bangs his gavel and goes guilty. It's like no evidence, nothing, just okay, you're done. It's like execution tonight at 9:00. We're gonna fry this guy in the electric chair and broadcast it.
Or the cow one was hilarious to me when
they throw the cow in there with with the one arachnid.
Yeah.
Let's see. Clint says I stopped reading. You're talking about Dune, right? After book 3.
It's you made it a lot farther than a lot of people. It's just
How many books are there total?
Oh, there's a bunch. You have
Yeah,
the
there's
first,
there's
the
like a
first
whole there's like
three.
a
Yeah,
there's like
you
a
have the
whole
first
there's a massive cosmology. And it spans like about like what, like 20,000 years.
10,000 years. Yeah, 10 and
Yeah.
10, 20,000 years all.
Yeah,
Because I didn't read them all. That's I just no way.
Vince says. Oh no, yeah, I shared a few things today on the Discord actually with
Oh yeah, yeah. See, Dune Messiah. There's Dune. There's Dune Messiah. You know, there's Children of Dune. Those are the first three. God, Emperor of Dune. Heretics of Dune. Chapter House Dune. Hunters of Dune. You could go on forever. Sandworms of Dune. You know. So yeah, there you go. Total like
So Aaron, since I watched the original movie, I liked it. Yeah, the original I found is kind of polarizing among a lot of people.
Well, because if you're not from the '80s, you know, a lot of people can't really relate to that movie's straight up '80s. That movie is straight
hell
up
yeah.
80s.
It has Sting as one of the main.
McLaughlin, Sting.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Stewart was in it, looking
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
like Patrick Stewart looked for like 40 years of his life, 50 years of his
Yeah.
life. I think that guy was born old.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that was also before Star Trek: Next Generation, right? That was before he was Picard.
And that was just before he did Life Force. That's a classic.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Patrick Stewart, you know he's going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's no way he's not in Deadpool.
They're going to throw everything in the salad bowl.
And probably Halle Berry as Storm too. Like, if you've seen it,
I expect to see them all there.
and like, especially if you've seen any of her recent social media posts where she has like very like Storm looking hair all of a sudden.
Like I said, you guys tell me how it is. Actually, you know what? I take that back because, like I said, with the TVA's involvement, I am leaning towards giving it a shot, but not because of I care about Deadpool as a character, because every TVA storyline that Marvel has brought to the screen, I've enjoyed. So hopefully, it's not a letdown.
Yeah, like I said, they're probably gonna have some strike jokes in it. Dune. Can I pull up this one with a Dune spoiler? It's from the books.
I guess you could, even though I generally don't do that. Like for House of the Dragon, I read those, and I've read those books in Game of Thrones, and I generally there's a lot. Hold on, take it down.
Okay.
Take it down. The reason why is because there's going to be a lot of people that are never going to read these books that are going to go see these movies.
Okay, point taken. So somebody's going to screenshot that, I'm sure. But well, like one thing I will, again, with my knowledge of the larger Dune universe is like, because apparently because he's initially played up as a messianic figure, but apparently he's kind of an asshole.
Dick. But here's the thing, like say with like Game of Thrones, I would do Game of Thrones screenings, right? And I would find out that like 99.9% of the population did not even know they were books. So I knew about the Red Wedding. I knew about the Viper and the mountain fight. I knew about everything that was happening for the first 4 seasons because they were all based on a book. And I would never talk about it because the majority of people who are going to see Dune, the majority of people who are going to see Game of Thrones have and will never read the books. And now you're putting stuff out there that is kind of spoilerish because the books have been written. They're done. They've been done for decades. So for that's considered a spoiler alert that I can't really do anything about because it's not like I can say, well, wait, we can wait 5 days for you to watch it. Most of the people who are going to make up Dune's box office will never and have never seen those books. So there's no way to avoid spoilers if you put stuff like that up. So for going forward though, and we're going to apply the same rule to House of the Dragon as well. I mean, I can tell everybody who's read the Dance of Dragons can tell you exactly how it's going to end, but I'm not going to do that because most of you will never read those books, and so I'm basically fucking up the show for you. So
the original Dune is a warning about trusting charismatic leaders.
Yeah, in the Messiah complex. Yep.
Oh, Ruth, come on, not you two. Do you guys hate me or something?
Oops.
I just want, and it's like, listen, when we do this watch party, first of all, like, you guys are gonna get your money's worth. If you want Scorched Earth Brad, you're gonna get Scorched Earth Brad. Mark my words, okay? I'm gonna tear this thing to shreds watching this, okay?
He's gonna be converted.
The fuck I am.
You're going to be converted. You're gonna come out of this being like, you know what? I've been too harsh in this movie.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna convert some. If I can convert one person away from it, that I will consider that a job well done. But just like, but I need, because I know that some of you are going to be dropping in for that. Somebody is going to, you're going to have to make a case to me why any of you enjoyed this series. And again, it's like, it's going to have to be like the equivalent of like OJ level lawyering. It's like, it's got to be that good of an argument. And even then, it's like that didn't last long terms. So you guys just love torturing me. 10 days ago till code 82.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm not sure you're getting in there, Aaron. I need to change my name for that movie. Yeah, I'll change my name for like the Scar, maybe the Scar. No, I should keep it, the Scar Giver, because that's what I'm going to be doing that day. The Scar Giver, or like the bad movie Destructor. I'm gonna pull this up too. Let me look at like how well did that first one do?
What, Dune?
You know, the first scary movie.
Oh.
Well, I'll pull Dune too. See how that did. Because they give a little bit of perspective. It shows you how far it's. Because I think that bombed too in its time. Yeah, that bombed. That was, the budget was 40 to 42 million. It made 30 to 37.9.
What movie is this?
Dune, the original, the 84 one.
Yeah, it's just a really abstract and hard, you know.
Yeah, it's
even now, like I said, I still think if they would have just done that movie out in theaters.
I agree. Yeah, day and date, it's like that really that was beneficial to it. And even without, you know, I mean, even looking at it purely commercially, it's like it still did like 400 million, but as far as like the long term impact that it had, or like the long term, you know, adoration that it accrued, it's like the day and date thing that really helped it massively, I think. So I would agree with you on that. But yeah, now going back to the original Scary Movie, budget 19 million, box office 278. So the world decided to flush $278 million down the toilet back in 2000 when this piece of shit came out.
That's not even adjusted dollars, so that's actually more when you think about it.
Yeah, and that kills me inside. That kills me inside. That's money that. Okay, I'm gonna look at okay. So number two, that took a hit. That went from, the budget was 45, it went to 141.2.
That's still a lot of money.
And for number three, yeah, I'm going through all these. 48 made 220.7. That's 220. That's 225 too much, because 3 also sucked. 4 that was budget 40. Box office 178.3. That is also.
I mean, that they kept consistent money on these things, and they just kept making a profit on them. They're like Sony, but better.
5, Scary Movie 5, budget $20 million, made 78.4. Oh, so finally came down.
That's an expendable situation, because once you can only go so far.
Yeah, and they went 6 movies too far with that franchise.
But even still, none of them lost money. So, you know. All right, guys. I got to still watch John Oliver's, because the season premiere of last week tonight happened a hour ago, and I haven't had a chance to watch it because I went right into True Detective. Brad, where can they find you?
You can probably find me dying inside right now. You can find me on Twitter at Vero. You find me here and there on Facebook. You guys can find me here on the Sci-Fi Center Discord now that we have set up. So
I need to put it. If it, send me the link that I can post in the permanent link section, the right one, so that I know which one, because I want to make sure they get to the right thing, because I'm still new at that. So I want to add that to the permanent. And I am going to be jumping on there a lot more. I've just been busy the last couple of days, but I will be a part of that Discord server, so you'll see me popping in and sharing some stuff with you, some stuff that I can't really share. Maybe you know what, Vince, can I put videos there without
Yeah, I should run earlier.
Without getting copyright, because I think that's a private conversation between us. Correct? I don't think.
Yeah.
You know what? I may start using that. When we do our movie things to actually, so that you guys can have a Discord server actually while we're up on the show too. So
yeah, I should run earlier today.
Cool. All right, guys, that's it. If you watch True Detective tonight, I mean, the coolest thing about that show, like I said,
is it's not a scary movie.
They put you. They did their best to put you in the perspective of somebody they just put it out there. They're having the discussion with themselves and others about taking their own lives, and it literally is a thread throughout the entire show. And the struggle with it. So, and like I said, at the end of most of the episodes that I saw, they would put up these crisis hotlines. They would put up 988. They would put up, they didn't just portray it on screen, but they actually put the assets out there. So that's good. What is this week's watch party supposed to be? Is it Man of Steel?
For Man of Steel, that'd be Saturday. So, and I'm gonna need it after Scary Movie. God help me.
I think we're gonna do Man of Steel this Saturday. I think we decided the Man of Steel this Saturday, and
because I need a good movie after what I'm about to put myself through on Friday night for you guys.
And I already know what the comic book story is right now. It's New Frontiers.
Oh, awesome, because that's a turning point, definitely.
Yeah, and that actually makes it. That's like I said, that's one of those books that when you walk into my store, that's why it sits up there in the front for those of you who have been to the center, because it is literally something I can hand to anybody, and it will get them familiarized with the characters enough to where they can go in other places. So yeah, I like the new format. So I'm enjoying that. So, I think we're on 50-something straight days, unless there's some breaking news tomorrow. I might take the night off.
Yeah.
You know what that means, right? I'll be fucking here tomorrow at 11. But you know what? The allergies have been bothering me. Like I said, it's no work. My sleeping patterns are going to be thrown off because I got to wake up so that I can interview Scott Jeffries, who is the producer of Jagged Edge and the producer of, he's the brain trust behind Blue Blood and Honey. So I've been wanting to interview him for so long now. And like I said, we're going to put all these interviews together and, one thing after they're all done. But a lot of you guys have been liking those videos from so some of the highest content videos I've ever done so far. So continue to like those. And like I said, I see other people that have way more followers than me that are interviewing those guys. And I actually got hard numbers in them, which is not what it's all about, but it's just fun. I'm a horror fan, and I love interviewing people who are doing this type of budgeted stuff. So, okay, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow or whatever day it is now. We're actually into the next day. I'm going to go watch Last Week Tonight and laugh my ass off. See you later.
Later, guys.